So this is your first class of BARC, right? I just want to know uh, the basics about everyone, that who is taking CAT for the very first time, who has already taken CAT last year or before last year, whatever. So a quick introduction about everyone. That would help me, to give you the guidance. Okay, Jayant first time, Suhas first time, Harika first time, started this year. Kavya Shri started this year means you started your preparation this year, right? Okay, Sindhuja first time, Divya first time, Lalita, this is my first time taking classes. Okay, fair enough. So I guess all of the students so far, this is your first attempt, right? Is there anyone apart from all these students? Is there is anyone who is taking this CAT for the second time? No one, right? Okay, Chali, that's great. So, uh, firstly, we should start with what CAT asks, right? Prior to starting the session, I would just I'll take a few minutes to make you clear that in which direction you have to move. So, firstly, we should know where we have to reach, and then we'll decide the roadmap, right? Unless we know what we are going to achieve, how do we decide how we are going to achieve, right? So, firstly, we should need to understand what CAT is, right? What the VARC section of CAT demands, and then we'll discuss how we are going to cover up the whole syllabus and in which manner we are going to crack the CAT. Okay, so if I talk about firstly the CAT pattern, okay, so here we are talking just about the pattern of VA section. VA is verbal ability. Okay, so till 2019, okay, so the CAT is of 3 hours, and if I talk about VA section, that is of 60 minutes, basically 1 hour. So 1 hour for each section, VA 1 hour, Cons 1 hour, LRDR 1 hour. Okay. So this pattern was followed from 2015 to 2019. Okay, this was the same pattern constantly. It was going on without any changes. So I'm not talking prior to 2015 what was there. Okay, now what happened in 2020? COVID happened, right? So it changes a lot of things. So firstly, the overall duration of CAT reduced. So it reduced down to 2 hours. So when it reduced down to 2 hours, so all the sections also got less time. So 40 minutes per section, right? Now, this is the major difference, 60 minutes and 40 minutes first. Now, what are the question types and how many questions are there? Okay. So, when there were 60 minutes, there were overall 34 questions. And when there were 40 minutes, there were 26 questions overall. Overall means total VA section, right? I'm talking only about verbal section right now. I'm not talking about the complete number of questions in CAT, okay? So, till 2019, VA section carries 34 questions. For 2020, there were 26 questions. Now, how these 26 questions are divided, or how these 34 questions are divided, how many number of questions, what are the type of questions, okay? So since 2015, only limited types of questions are there. Major part is RC, Next is parajumble, summary, and odd one out. Don't worry, I'll explain you all the question types, what skills are required. Don't worry, we'll discuss everything. Okay. So RCs are nothing but reading comprehensions, which we have been doing since our school time. There is a passage followed by questions, right? So after reading the passage, you have to attempt those questions which are related from that same passage only, right? Parajumbles is nothing but certain sentences given, jumbled up. You have to arrange the sentences to make a certain logical sequence. Okay. In the summary type of question, see, whenever you have any doubt, do let me know right away. Okay. Do not wait. Just type in your doubt wherever you have any doubt. Okay. So if you don't ask anything, so I assume that you are getting everything. Fine. Okay. So PJ is done. In summary questions, there is a paragraph, 100 to 150 words, and you out of the options you have to select the best summary of that paragraph. Okay. So the summary is done. Nothing very technical, right? The simple uh, type of questions, nothing to worry about. No specific skills which you have to develop. And the third type of question is odd one out. So basically, 4 to 5 sentences are given, and out of those 4 sentences, you have to find out that which one sentence is not fit or not in sync with the rest of the other sentences. If there are 5 sentences, you have to find out that one sentence which is not in sync with the rest of the other 4 sentences. Right? Now, how many questions from each type of question, right? We should know the weightage of each type of question, right? So if I talk about 26 questions pattern, okay, because this is the latest one. So when there were 26 questions, out of 26 questions, 18 questions are based on RCs. Can you imagine? Out of 26 questions, 18 questions are based on RC only. And rest 8 questions are from PJ, summary, and odd one out. So it could be 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, something like that. So 3 or 2. This is the number of questions from these 3 type of questions, right? And when there were 34 questions, so 24 questions are from RC and 10 questions are from VA. From all these 3, there were a total of 10 questions. So in both the patterns, if you could see, there is a huge weightage for RCs, right? RCs are reading comprehensions. Is there any doubt, anyone so far? I guess some of you have joined late. Please be particular with the timings. I start lectures on time, so I will not wait for anyone. So please make sure that you join timely, right? Okay. Now, we know what type of questions are there in the CAT. Okay. Now, what we need to work upon, what skills we should improve, firstly, let's understand. Now, if you have to crack any RC, what do you have to do? You have to read a passage and attempt the questions, right? So you should be good at reading. That's it. If you are good at reading and understanding what is written over there, you can easily crack the RCs, right? If I talk about parajumbles, what you have to do? You have to read the sentences and you have to rearrange them in a logical and coherent manner. So you have to read all the sentences and arrange them. When I talk about summary questions, what do you have to do? You have to read that small paragraph and then read the options and figure out the summary. So, again, what skills are required? Reading. And in the odd one out questions, what do you have to do? You have to read all the 5 sentences, find out which one is not in sync, and then mark it as your answer. So, again, which skill is required? Reading. So basically, if I figure out that with that one skill, if you should be good at, if you want to crack VA section of CAT, then I guess only one skill is required. That is read, read, and read. That's it. So now you'll say, ma'am, we are already very good at reading. So that means we can easily crack the CAT, right? So here comes the catch. Now, what's the catch? So the passages of RC, the language of the RC may be difficult. When I talk about language, it means it carries heavy vocabulary. Might possible that you do not know the meaning of the words even. How will you understand? Have you ever listened Shashi Tharoor? Has anyone listened Shashi Tharoor? He speaks only English, right? But still we really find it difficult to understand what he is speaking because he uses heavy vocabulary. That means the selection of the words, we don't know the meaning of those words. So unless we don't know the meaning of the words, how will we understand what is written over there, right? So heavy vocabulary, or there will be complex sentences. It means the sentence formation is not very simple, very long sentences come joined with the punctuations. So it becomes really difficult. We lose the connection, what was written over there and where we are, we lose the concentration and somehow we mixed up a lot of things. So we have to reread. Okay, this is another very common problem. Or the topic, let's suppose there is a passage based on pseudoscience or quantum physics. What will you do? You'll say, ma'am, I belong to commerce background, so I just cannot read or understand anything from the science background or the medicine background. No, that is not acceptable. So CAT may ask passages from any background. It could be from any background. It could be social, it could be science, it could be medicine, it could be humanities, it could be psychology, it could be anything, right? So sometimes it happens that if it comes from diversified background, there are so many terminologies that we do not understand. Let's suppose there is a passage based on stock markets. So stock market has its own terminologies, right? So if you do not know those terminologies, those jargons, it becomes really difficult for us to understand the passage. So these are certain challenges which are there when you read. Okay. So to improve our reading, what we have to improve? Tell me, what you should work at? Obviously, firstly, you should improve your what you should improve. Okay, yes, Lalita, correct. You should improve your vocabulary. See, vocabulary is any word, whatever you speak, whatever you listen, whatever you read, whatever you write. So if there is any word which you don't understand the meaning, that comes under vocabulary. So if you're reading, you come across tough words, that becomes your vocabulary, right? Next, yes, you have to work upon your grammar. Now, why grammar? You'll say, ma'am, in the CAT pattern, we couldn't see any question based on grammar. So, why there is any need to learn the basic concepts of grammar even. Why should we focus? Why should we learn? Why should we waste our time on grammar? Why? So, as I mentioned, there were complex sentences, or when you want to rearrange the sentences of parajumbers, there are certain grammar rules which can actually help you in making the links, right? If you understand how grammar works, you can easily break down the complex sentences into the easier ones. So that's how grammar helps indirectly. Again, grammar is indirectly asked in CAT. I'm not saying directly, but it is indirectly being asked in CAT. But what about other exams? What if you're taking any other exam? Let's suppose you are targeting ANMAT, Narsimunji, Symbiosis, any other exam if you're targeting. So those exams, they have direct questions based on grammar. Are you going to prepare again for those exams? No, right? So, any which ways, you have to develop your command over grammar, right? So, yes, we are going to cover vocabulary, we are going to cover grammar, and then definitely we are going to work hard on the RCs. Now, what about RCs? We should know the type of passages, we should know what the type of questions, how to read the passage, how to improve our speed. See, we need to work upon two things. We need to improve our speed, definitely. The more speedily you read, the more questions you can attempt. And second, you need to work upon your comprehension. It doesn't matter how speedily you read, if you do not understand anything, then it's waste, right? So we need to work upon our comprehension as well. And then we need to understand the type of questions. What are the type of questions generally asked in CAT? How to eliminate the options. So there are a lot of things which we need to work upon when we start understanding RCs. And once we cover all these three things, then our PJ, summary, and all the other type of questions, odd one out, these all can be easily taken care of. You just need to practice these type of questions. You don't require any other skill. Once you master vocabulary, grammar, and RC, then you can easily crack these three type of questions. Clear, everyone? Any doubt so far? Okay. So I guess this is, so now we know what CAT is, what VARC section carries, what type of questions are there, and what skills are required, and how we are going to cover the complete syllabus, right? So firstly, we teach you all these things, then you will practice, you will have practice exercises, you practice a lot, then you will have mock exams. So you have a lot to do, right? So the point is, we are already running late. It's August, right? So consider August, September, October, November exam will be there. So we have only 3 months in our hand. I don't know what your targets are, what you're planning for, but one thing is for sure, if you have joined this organization, there is a certain purpose behind joining this. You have certain expectations, you must be having certain goals, targets, right? Those goals, targets can be achieved only if you are sure about yourself and you are ready to give your 100% from today itself. No excuses, nothing. Do not consider it as an easy exam. No, it is not an easy exam, but it is not unachievable as well. If we dedicate ourselves, if we study well, then we can easily tame the cat, right? So is everyone ready to dedicate themselves for next 3 months? If you are dedicated, then yes, you can. I assure you that you can easily crack this exam. But yes, for that you have to show me that dedication. I should feel that zeal in you that yes, we are ready. Whatever you say, we are going to do that. Okay, so that's good. So, this is all about CAT and its pattern. Let's start our today's session. So, we are going to start with vocabulary. There are few sessions which are based on vocabulary. I'm not saying that whatever words we are going to cover in the vocabulary session that they are just sufficient. No, they are just the base or the foundation for you to understand that how you can learn new words. So in the vocabulary sessions, we are just going to help you, or we are just going to provide you a guideline or a roadway that how you can learn new words. Okay, so let's start with our first session, which is based on vocabulary, that is contextual vocabulary. Okay, so the point is, how do you learn any new word? Any word. If you come across a new word, there are multiple ways to learn that word, right? So every time it is not at all possible that you pick up a dictionary, look for the meaning, every time it is not possible, right? So that's why we focus on contextual vocabulary. That even if you don't know the meaning of that word, but still reading that sentence or reading that complete paragraph, you can figure out that, okay, this should be the meaning of this word. As per the context, as per the sentences which are given, I could make out that, okay, this should be the meaning of this word. So you are just assuming, but that assumption is so strong because the way you are following, the method you are following is short, right? So let's understand how contextual vocabulary works. So, firstly, let's talk that there are various ways to improve your vocabulary. Okay, you can follow various or different strategies to improve your vocabulary. So, firstly, there are implicit way and there are explicit way. What is an implicit way? That whenever you learn a new word, you repeatedly encounter them. So you read that word multiple times and automatically you remember that word. So let's suppose you read newspaper. So there are certain words which occurs repeatedly in the newspaper. So you don't have to put in any effort. You automatically remember those words in your mind, in your repository. Then there are certain explicit ways. It means you do not come across the bird, you put in actual efforts. Here you put in actual effort to remember the words. So you focus on the structure, that how that word has made up. You try to recall the synonyms of that word. You actually put in efforts. It is not that easy to remember the words. So you put in efforts. Okay. So when I talk about contextual vocabulary, I am giving you just next 2 minutes. Read this paragraph and then we'll discuss the meaning of all these words. Just read. You may know the meanings of the word, you may not, but try to figure out that what could be the meaning of this word. Okay, just try to assume, figure out what could be the meaning. So I'm giving you just 2 minutes. Read it quickly. Okay, are we done? Okay. So this paragraph talks about whom? So this paragraph talks about Sharon, right? Okay. And of which country we are talking about? It is about Israel. So Sharon is an Israeli citizen. Okay. And out of this paragraph, can we figure out that what was his position in Israel once? What was his position? He was the prime minister. Yes, Divya, correct. He was the prime minister. Okay, so these are the basics which we could figure out from this paragraph. Now let's start reading this. Sharon lay in a hospital bed, sustained by a feeding tube. His great body shrank and his legacy slowly shifted. So he's sustained by a feeding tube. It means he's in a hospital and then there is a tube through which they provide him the food because he's unable to chew, probably something like that. It means that he is not in a good condition. He is not well. Okay. So what could be the meaning of sustained? That he is maintained by a feeding tube. He's surviving on a feeding tube, something like that. Okay. Can I say sustained means the maintained one? And sustained carry a lot of different meanings as well. It depends on the sentence. If I say he sustained injuries, it doesn't mean that he maintains injuries. So he sustained injuries. It means he, yes, correct, Lalita, overcome the injuries or he experiences some certain injuries, something like that. Okay. But in this sentence, sustain means that he is maintaining by a feeding tube. Now, both admired and reviled as Israeli signature warrior. So there are two aspects. One is admiration, another should be what? See, there are two aspects. So one is admiration, the other aspect would be opposite of admiration. See, any person, anyone who is on a very critical position, so he is liked by certain people, not liked by certain people, right? Not everyone like him, not everyone dislike him. Okay, so that's why they're saying both. They're saying that he got both admiration. So what could be the meaning of reviled? Anything which is opposite of admire, right? So admiration when you are in support of something, revile if it is opposite of admire. Can I say it should be criticize? Can I say that? So revile can be related with criticism. In Kunchala Vijay Kumar, insert will be, a very high intensity word. Admiration, you are supporting. Reviling, you are criticizing, that you are not liking that. He has been more remembered as Prime Minister. 5 years marked first by restraint, then by actions, both bold and unexpected. So he served a term of 5 years. Now he's no more a Prime Minister. The things you see from here, you don't see from there. So he said that your opinion about certain things can be different from what we are seeing from our viewpoint. So he once reportedly said, explaining the difference in perspectives when you head up your nation's government, difference in the perspectives. So let's suppose there is a, if I talk about a school, so there are teachers. So students think that, oh my God, teachers are so lucky. Once we become the teachers, things will get different. But the teachers think that in what position we should be the principal, right? The principal thinks something else. So there is difference in perspective. It means everyone's opinion is different. So perspective is your viewpoint. how you are, how you consider things happening. So perspective is, yes, correct, book Suhas. It is the viewpoint, your opinion, your way of looking at certain things. The quote, which likely did not originate with Sharon, was in recent years frequently attributed to him, along with a certain sagacity. So there is a quote which is dedicated to him. Attributed means something which is dedicated to him. So along with a certain sagacity. Sagacity means something which is related with wisdom. When something is, when you are intelligent, when you are prudent, when you have that capacity to look at certain situation in which way no other person can think of. That is sagacity. What is the easiest way to remember this word, sagacious, sagacity? You know the word sage? Everyone knows who is a sage? We know who are sages, right? Who is a sage? Okay, Suhas, yes, we can consider them as saint, priest, whatever, right? So the sages, those who do meditation and all, they have certain powers. So sages, they are wise, they are intelligent. So this is just a simple way to remember this word sagacity, that anyone who has sagacity, sagacious, any things, any adjective, something like that is related with sage, which says wise, prudent, perspicacious. Perspicacious, it means you can look at things in a very different manner in which no other person can look at. A figure who had a reputation for impulsive action gradually lost his rough edges. Impulsive, it's a very easy word. That the Sharon, he had this reputation for impulsive action. Impulsive means when you do not think about and you just do it. That was an impulsive reaction. It means you did not realize, you did not think about it, and you just do it. That is impulsive. Uh, Sindhuja, it's probably not a fluke one, but I would say, without giving a thought, you just take. Let's suppose if someone pushes you, suddenly you'll get angry and you just turn to slap that person. That's an impulsive action because you do not even think what you're going to do and you just do it. So, whatever comes to your mind, you just do it. Yes, Vijay Kumar, no plans. That is an impulsive action without any plans, without giving a thought. You just do it. So, he had this reputation of impulsive action, but he gradually lost his rough edges. So, rough edges means a person who is rude, who is impolite. So, he was considered as rude person, but gradually he lost his rudeness, he lost his rough edges. Any doubt, anyone in this passage? Anyone? Okay, sorry, let's go ahead then. I'm sure that you all are making your notes simultaneously, right? Please make sure that you keep taking notes. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now what we have to do when we try to understand any contextual vocabulary, how we can crack the meaning of any word. So now we need to look forward for the clues. Look at the clues. There are a lot of clues given. See, you need to understand one thing. Uh, any writer, any author, if he writes something, what is the basic purpose? What is the basic purpose? That whatever he is writing, the reader should understand. Am I right? That is the basic purpose of any author who is writing something, that if I'm writing something, the reader should understand the meaning. So, if he is using very tough vocabulary, what will happen? A reader will lose the interest. They will not read completely his article or his novel or magazine or book, whatever it is. So a reader will lose interest because it becomes so tedious if you keep on cross checking in the dictionary. Okay, what is the meaning? Okay, let's move ahead. Then again another new word, again a tough word. You go back to the dictionary. So that is so tedious process that a reader loses the interest, and that's how the basic purpose of the author gets lost. So what a good author does, along with the vocabulary, along with the good words, he provides certain clues. So that with the help of the clues, a good reader can understand those vocabulary with the clues. Now, if we have to become that good reader, we need to understand that what clues are given, how to crack those clues. We need to understand that, right? So let's understand what kind of clues can be there, what we need to look for when we are reading, right? So these are the various things, various clues which are given. Now let's understand all the clues one by one. Okay, so many clues are given. Okay, let's understand all the clues one by one. First was reframe the sentence. Reframe means you need to simplify the sentence. Sometimes author makes the sentence a complex one. Honestly, it makes the meaning of the sentence very complicated. So what we need to do, just reframe the sentence, and it becomes, make it effortless to comprehend the word. Make it effortless so that anyone can easily understand that sentence. Look at this example. The guilt of cheating in the exam lingered in his mind. Now, I don't know the meaning of lingered. So, this guilt is there on my mind or not there on my mind? I don't know as of now. Let's read further. Until he let it off his chest. Until he let it off. It means something was already there. He had to let it go. So, what should be the meaning of linger? That guilt was there. Guilt was stayed there. So, something which stayed on his mind, right? So, can I simplify this sentence that the guilt stayed with him? The easy way to understand the same sentence, that the guilt stayed with him. Next clue. Now, there are so many transition words. Now, this is very, very important clue and very helpful as well. Now, there are so many transition words. It means they signals the contrast probably in a particular sentence. So, like there is a word but. Okay, let's say if I'm saying she is honest, but. So, what do you think the next word would be? Positive or negative? She is honest, but. So, honest is a positive quality, right? But now I've used but. So, now you can assume that the next word will be a negative word, right? Yes, correct, Lalita. That would be a negative word. So all these words, they shows the contrast. They signals the contrast in a particular sentence. So although, in spite of, instead, unlike, What happened, Vijay Kumar? Voice is fluctuating. Is this for everyone? My voice is fluctuating, or is it okay? My voice is fluctuating. Oh, okay. My internet is fine. My mic is fine. Lot of disturbance. Okay. No, my mic is not moving at all, Vijay. It is inbuilt in the laptop, so there is no chance that my mic is moving. I'm not using any external mic. So these are the words which shows the contrast. So although, but, in spite of, instead, unlike, however, yet, nevertheless, though, these words, whenever you come across these words, just focus that okay, something opposite, something contrast is going to happen. So now look at this sentence. My father is choleric, but my mother is pleasant. Now I don't know the meaning of choleric. Can we find out the meaning? Now, definitely my father is a contrast of my mother. I know the meaning of pleasant, right? That my mother is a pleasant person. So my father is opposite. So what is the meaning of choleric? A person who gets very angry. Easy now to understand, right? So pleasant, a person, the opposite of pleasant is choleric, a person who gets very angry very easily, who's always irritated, a very unpleasant person. Okay. What are the other words for being angry? Uh, can be furious, someone who is frowning. Okay. Next, although she was lethargic, sleep eluded her. So, she was lethargic. Okay, Lalita, lazy, giant, disinterested. How come lethargic? How have you related lethargic with disinterested? So let's understand the second half first. Sleep eluded her. Elude means to avoid something, something which escapes you. Okay. So, although, exactly, Vijay Kumar, good attempt. Look at this word, although. It means although she was tired, extremely tired, something like that, still she couldn't sleep. So, what is the meaning of lethargic? She is tired. Elude means something which escapes you, which avoids you. Okay, so a very strong clue is focus on the transition words. If you know the other word, you can easily figure out the opposite word. At least you can assume the meaning, the what we say, the superficial meaning, at least, not the exact dictionary one, but at least we can figure out the meaning of that word. Let's move ahead. Next clue is about the synonyms. So, more often, a writer will provide a synonym or a brief phrase that defines the unfamiliar word. So, generally, a good author or a writer, they provide the synonyms or a brief description of that unknown word. Now, look at this example. Martin Luther King was the most venerable liberator. Now, I don't know what kind of liberator he was. So let's read further. Who is admired? So if he was admired, it means this should be a positive word, right? He was admired as a symbol of struggle against injustice and of racial discrimination. So he worked a lot towards injustice and the racial discrimination. So this word should be relatable with what? What kind of person he should be? He should be exactly Lalita, good one. That he should be a respectable person because he worked hard about something. He worked hard about, the major problems of the society, injustice, racial discrimination, something like that. So venerable means the respectable person, the reverence, anyone which commands respect because of great age, or he worked hard a lot about something, probably because of that. So because of this brief description, we could figure out the meaning of venerable. Next, when the teacher announced about picnic, all the students cheered with alacrity and eagerness. I guess you can easily find out the meaning of alacrity. Obviously, whenever there is announcement of picnic, how will you respond? How will the students respond? Right? So they will be excited, enthusiastic, they will be cheerful. So there will be cheerful readiness. It means when you get ready with cheerfulness, when you get ready with excitement, full of enthusiasm, that you are so boosted, so enthusiastic to do something, that is alacrity, right? So let's suppose someone invited you to a birthday party and you accepted that invitation with alacrity. It means that you're so excited to attend that birthday party that you accepted that invitation with alacrity, with cheerful readiness, that you are so excited about something, you are so enthusiastic about something. Okay, so alacrity is cheerful readiness. Done? Any doubts so far, anyone? Okay, that's great. Okay, let's move ahead quickly without wasting any time. Now, next clue is antonyms. So we have seen synonyms, so another clue is the antonym. So the writer states how the meaning of the unfamiliar word is different or opposite from the clue. Let's look at the example. The two siblings were antithesis. Now we all know the meaning of anti. What is the meaning of anti? Anti-nationalist, anti-government, anti-communalism, whatever. So we all know the meaning of anti. Yes, Lalita, correct. Kavishri, correct. Anti is against, right? Against or opposite, something like that. Antithesis is when you're opposite to something. So two siblings are opposite. One talked little. So if one talked little, so the other talks what? A lot? Obviously a lot, because they are opposites. So if one talks less, so the other talks a lot. So what is the meaning of garrulous? So garrulous person is basically a chatterbox. You know what chatterbox is? A person who keeps talking. On any topic, in anything, they can talk a lot. They always have the content. So yes, Suhas, they are talkative. Garrulous person is a talkative person, a chatterbox who can constantly keep on talking. Okay. So once we understand that these are opposite, we can figure out the meaning. Context clue is just use your basic GK, basic general knowledge. We are not talking about, a very hi-fi GK. You'll say, ma'am, I'm very poor in GK. No, I'm not talking about that GK. General knowledge, or I would say the common sense. Okay. So let's understand how you have to use your common sense or general knowledge. Often the context clues are in the surrounding sentences. It means focus on the surrounding sentences, the other sentences which are supporting the word. The reader must infer or make an educated guess. Focus on this word. You need to make an educated guess. It means use some brains, use some common sense, and then you'll get the meaning. Look at this example. It is the wedding of the princess of Saudi. Now, without reading even further, can you figure out that what kind of wedding it would be? She is the princess of Saudi. So it is going to be a grand affair, right? That is our common sense, right? Okay. So no doubt there will be an ostentatious display of wealth. So what kind of display it is? It is show off. Ostentatious is when you show off something, when you do something to impress. That is ostentatious. Eminent personalities from across the world are invited. The wedding will be held under an elephantine tent. What kind of tent it would be? Like, see, it's a very simple word you need to understand. The adjective is related with elephant. Elephant resembles what? Signifies what? Huge, big, enormous, right? So yes, Lalita, correct. Vijay Kumar, correct. Huge, big, anything which is of enormous size or strength. So the tent was huge in the size. Wedding will held under that tent. So here I just use my common sense that it is a princess of Saudi. So that's why all the affairs are going to be grand. Moving ahead, now focus on the specific details. Look minutely on the words. Look, focus on the examples which are given. The context in which a word appears may include one or more examples that are clues to the unknown word's meaning. So focus on what kind of examples they have used, and that's how we can figure out the meaning. Look at this example. The science class is studying crustaceans. Now I don't know what they are studying about. I don't know what are crustaceans. Now the examples are crabs, shrimps, lobsters. So what do you think crustaceans should be? Yes, they are animals. They are living beings. Agreed. Exactly. Yes, Lalita, Suhas, correct that they are sea animals. They are aquatic animals. So crustaceans are the variety of sea animals. Right? So just focus on what kind of examples are given, and here we are. Next example, Leonardo DiCaprio is a multifaceted actor. Now, what kind of actor he is, I don't know. Now, let's understand. What is the description? He can do humorous, serious, sentimental. It means he can do various kind of roles. That means he is an actor who can perform, or who is an all-rounder, who can perform any genre. Can I call him a versatile actor? He's a versatile or multi-talented. Yes, good one. Jayant or Vijay, yes, correct. Anil, yes, all in one. A lot of things, a lot of qualities in one person. That is multifaceted, versatile actor, right? So there are a lot of clues which shows the specific details and especially the examples. So, like such as, or for instance, or these include. So these are the various ways to show the examples only. Right? Let's move ahead. Now, the author or the writer provides a definition of the word in the sentence itself. Nothing like that, right? So, a formal definition is provided by the writer. Look at this example. The contestant outshone all other contestants. He scored highest marks. If he scored highest marks, it means what? He is the best than all the others, right? So he shines more brightly than others because he scored the highest marks. So he outshone all others. It means he shines brighter than any other candidate. Next example. Surprisingly, the first day of the year, the stock market plummeted. Now, we don't know that the stock market went up or down. We don't know. Let's read further. Nifty dropped. So, if Nifty dropped, it means the stock market, yes, collapsed, smashed. Good one. So, plummeted means what? Plummeted means going downwards, but anything which goes down at a very high speed, that is plummet. One is gradual descent. Let's suppose this is market, that's how it is going on, and all of a sudden it drops like this. This is plummet because this is a sharp downfall. We call it as nosedive as well. But let's suppose this is the market, it going this way, it goes up, and here this way it is going down. So there's a fall, but that's a gradual fall. But plummet is, yes, with a sudden fall, it drops straight down at a very high speed. That is plummet. Next, now there is a comparison given in the sentence. So if you can compare the unfamiliar word with the familiar word, we can understand that there is a comparison going on and there should be a similarity between the two things which are given. Then we can figure out the meaning. Look at this example. The philosopher's stone, like the elixir, is believed to convert all base metals into gold. So the philosopher's stone can convert all base metals into gold, and it is like the elixir. So what is an elixir? Anything which converts all base metals into gold. That is elixir. Because the stone is compared with elixir. So whatever is the meaning of this stone will be the meaning of the elixir. So what is an elixir? Nothing but anything which converts metals into gold. Easy to understand, right? See, it is very simple. If you just focus on the words, if you just try to find out the clues, you can very easily find the meaning of the unfamiliar words. Next, the common punctuations. This is, I guess, this is a pretty easy one. Now, whenever things are connected with commas, the amateur figure skater surpassed or exceeded the judge's expectations. So, or exceeded is between two commas. So, surpassed means exceeded, nothing else. When you go above something, when you exceed something, that is surpass. So when things are there in between two commas, they are the meaning of the word which was just mentioned before that commas. Same applies to dashes. Look at this. The sculptor usually creates a maquette. Now I don't know what he creates. I don't know the meaning of maquette, but there is a brief description, a small model. So I know maquette means a small model before beginning work on the actual piece. So maquette means a small model. Then the parenthesis. Thick layers of Lewis. Now something is given in the brackets. Wind blown silt. So Lewis means the silt which is blown by wind. That is Lewis. Cover regions of the Mississippi River Valley. So just focus on the punctuations. These are pretty easy. I guess the easiest clues ever are the punctuations. So direct meanings are given. Next is Sindhuja. Any doubt? Okay. Next clue is word usage. Now you just need to find out of these two words which is the apt word. CAT focuses on the vocabulary uses. It's not only about the meaning of the words, it's about how you use that word in a particular sentence. It is not enough to comprehend the meaning, the usage of that word matters, right? So we need to understand the meaning, we need to understand that how they are used in a particular sentence. So look at this. Gauzer was abysmal or degraded, but so were England. They matched each other in incompetence. Now, out of these two words, which word will you select? Which is the apt word here? So, for that, you need to know the meaning of both the words. We know the meaning of degraded. What does degrade means? Anything which is reduced in quality. You know that? Degraded. Anything which is inferior. Now, we figure out that degrade is not the right word here. That Gauzer was degraded. England was also degraded. So, what is abysmal? Abysmal is anything which is extremely bad. Anything which is extremely bad, very bad, appalling actually. Something which is appalling with means something which is extremely bad. Okay, so Gauzer was bad, England was also bad. They matched each other in incompetence. So both are bad actually. So our correct answer will be abysmal. Read the sentences, let me know the correct answer. Which word will you select? Why we have chosen fabricate? Because we know the meaning of fabricate. That's why. What is the meaning of abhor? Okay. Predicting outcome in uncertain situation requires, so if you want to do this, it requires something. If you want to predict the outcome of any uncertain situation, so this requires application of analytical tools. So this requires a particular skill. And this our mind dash to employ readily. And here our mind dash, it means it cannot do this very easily. So if you do not do something readily, if you are not happy doing that, it means what? You hate it, right? You do not like doing that. And what happens? Hence, even in a situation like forecasting, our mind reflexively summons the fast pathway and often errs. Errs means mistake. So our mind cannot do that and it often mistakes massively. So the answer will be that our mind abhors, which our mind hates to employ readily, which our mind disgusts, do not like something. That's why we cannot do that readily. We cannot, our mind cannot do that very easily. So that's why we hate it. Our mind hates doing something. And that's why we end up doing mistakes. So my answer is abhor. Abhor means to hate or disgust. What is the meaning of fabricate? You all have answered fabricate. Now give me the meaning of the fabricate. Every one of you answered fabricate. Okay. Lalita, invent, imagine, Suhas. What else? What else? This is half correct. Sindhuja, Lalita. This is half correct. So, fabricate, yes, it means to invent something, it means to create something, but to deceive. So, it carries a negative meaning with it. Fabricates, it carries a negative meaning. When you fabricate a story, let's suppose you are late and the teacher asks why you are late, you fabricate a story. It means you create, you invent a story, and the purpose is to deceive. Okay. So yeah, in manufacturing industry, we fabricate things. It means you create something. That is, that doesn't carry any negative meaning. But in other sense, if you fabricate something, it is meant to deceive. You create something to deceive. Yes, Suhas, correct. Fabricated evidence, that you created the evidence, you invented that evidence, and the purpose is to cheat, to deceive. Let's move ahead. Find the keyword that hints you the answer. Quickly read it and answer. Okay, I'll give you that keyword. What is this? Early image. Okay, Let's understand the meanings first. What is the meaning of discrete? Discrete means separate, individually. So, no, it's not secret at all. Okay, you are getting confused with discrete. This discrete means doing something uh, in a manner where no one noticed you. Let's suppose in the middle of night you are hungry. You want to take out something from your fridge. What will you do? You will go discreetly so that your mother won't notice you. So this discreet means secretively. This discrete, just a change in the spelling, the pronunciation is same. This discrete means separate manner, individually, unattached, disconnected. All things are individual. The tense are in a discrete manner. It means all are separated. Okay. So this discrete is separate. Rudimentary, anything which is rudimentary, it means it is in its basic form, or it is in undeveloped form. It is immature as of now. It is just the basics one. Okay. So what do we need here? If I have this clue, early image. So early means the base one, not the developed one. So my answer will be rudimentary. Let's move ahead. Okay. Human lives are replete or receding with unending tribulations. Now, without looking at the words, what do you think? What kind of word do you need here? Human lives are dashed with unending tribulations. Tribulations are just troubles, let's understand. So, in human lives, there are so many troubles, right? Or the human lives are filled with troubles, something like that. Agreed or not? So we are looking for a word which says a lot of, filled with, or something like that. So what is the meaning of repeat? We know the meaning of deplete, right? What is the meaning of deplete? The natural resources are depleting, the fossil fuels are depleting. What is the meaning of deplete? Deplete means they are reducing. Yes. So replete means what? They are filled up with. They are well stocked with. And receding means something which is going backwards. Retreat. Move further. So generally, you have seen in the males of 40 plus age, their hairline is receding. It means their hairline are going backwards. So just a funny way to remember the word receding. The hairline is receding. It means the hairline is going backwards. They are becoming bald. So generally, this happens with the males, 40 plus males. So the correct word here is human lives are replete with unending tribulations. Okay, now no context clues. What if whatever clues we have studied, we couldn't find any clue in that sentence? Might possible? There is no clue. There are no synonyms, antonyms, comparisons, definitions, punctuations. No clue will be there. What will you do then? Still, we'll have three options. We will pronounce the word aloud, pronounce it loudly. Might possible when you hear the word yourself, you can relate it that okay, I have read this word earlier before, you can connect with its meaning, something like that. So try to speak it loudly. Probably you can recall. Sometimes there are certain words which are there deep down inside us. Might possible, let's take a chance that you can recall the meaning of that word. Next is carefully analyze the words parts. So words are there. Sometimes there are certain parts of the words which you understand. Let's suppose word monopoly. Even if you don't know the meaning of the word monopoly, you know mono, right? What is the meaning of mono? Mono means one. Monologue, monogamy, right? Monocracy. So you know a certain part of that word, you know the meaning of that part. Through that part, you can try to figure out the meaning of the complete word. Try to do that also. Even if nothing works, then what? Look up the word in the dictionary. So the last option is look for the dictionary. So you have to apply all this when you are practicing, when you are reading in your day-to-day life. Because looking up to the dictionary is not at all an option when you're taking the exam, right? So even in our day-to-day life, when you're practicing reading newspaper, novels, articles, whatever, looking up for the dictionary should be your last resort. Prior to that, try to find out all these clues. Okay, let's do certain exercise, certain questions. So, do you all have your booklets, books with you? So everyone has, right? Okay, so open your books, take out the exercise. Can you see the same question? Think of alternate words to the italicized words. Can you see this? So I want you to attempt first 5 questions. So let's attempt first question together. Okay, what we have to do that you have to find the alternate word for the italicized word. So we need to find a replacement for this word. Okay, let's start. The tree would not produce fruit. So what can be the alternate for produce here? The tree would not yield fruit, give. Yes, good one, Vijay. Second, we produce more cars than we can sell. Can I say we manufacture? Yes, Lalita, correct. See, he produced the packet of matches from his pocket. It means he took out, right? So he exhibited. He exhibited a packet of matches from his pocket. He produced a stage play. He produced, it means he funded or he financed. She produced a delicious cake for me. So she produced, for that I can say she baked. Rather than made, I prefer baked because we know that cake is baked. So cookies are baked, cakes are baked. So rather than made, we prefer baked. So she baked a delicious cake for me, right? So in the same manner, you have to attempt next 4 questions. Beer, cast, and pass. And check these 5. Quickly attempt these 4 questions. We'll discuss them and then we'll move forward. Okay, let's start our discussion. I hope everyone has completed these four questions. So I cannot bear his constant criticism. I cannot bear. What can I use? I cannot handle. Okay, Lalita. I cannot tolerate. Right? B. She agreed to bear the responsibility. She agreed to take up the responsibility, to hold on, to carry the responsibility. C. She bears a grudge against me. She carries, or she holds, or she harbors. She harbors a grudge against me. He bore himself with dignity. So here I can say that he carried himself with dignity. He carried. It is a bear market, totally a stock market jargon. So yes, stock market jargon. So what does that mean? What do you mean by bear market? Is it encouraging or it is discouraging? So bearish is a sluggish market. Yeah, downwards, discouraging. And if it is a bullish market, then it is encouraging one. Okay, next question. At the press meet, all eyes were cast upon the speaker. So all eyes were turned upon, diverted, directed. B. The author decided to cast the book in three parts. Decided to. No, it is not about publishing. Three parts. Yes, it is about dividing or arranging the book. It is not about publishing. We decided to cast off old clothing this spring. So we decided to cast off, to discard, to sell off. Yes, correct, Vijay Kumar, Lalita. This is discard. Next, the cast in the movie were excellent. What is the cast in the movie? The characters, the crew, the actors, the troupe, all are correct. I'm not too easily cast down by changes of fortune. I'm not easily cast down. I'm not let down. Okay, I am not discouraged, depressed. Correct, Vijay, Lalita, correct. That can be the meaning. I'm not too easily discouraged by changes, depressed by changes. Next, pass. He tried to pass himself off as a banker. Portray, okay. The better word is he tries to pretend. Pretend means when you show something which you are not. That is pretend. The old lady passed away peacefully. That's an easy one. Yeah, she's died, she's expired, she kicked off the bucket. See, she passed out when she heard the bad news. She passed out. Okay, unconscious. No, Vijay Kumar, here I will not take died. When you heard the bad news, you suddenly do not get died. You become faint, you become ill, something like that. Yes, Lalita, I can consider breakdown. D. The fake painting passed for an original. The fake painting passed for an original. So it was a fake painting, but it was passed. So accepted wrongly. The dessert was passed around the table. I guess that's an easy one. Circulated. Good one, Lalita. It's not supplied. Yeah, distributed is good. Supplied, Vijay, no, not supplied. Circulated is correct. Distributed around the table. Next question is about check. For security reasons, you have to check in 2 hours before your flight. You have to arrive, you have to come, you have to register. Check-in is when you register yourself 2 hours before. You just do not arrive there. You have to register yourself. Mr. Talla checked out this morning. So you leave, that is checked out. You should have the doctor check on you before you go back to work. You should have the doctor. When doctor checks, he checks that when the doctor makes sure that nothing is wrong with you, that is your checkup, right? Yeah, advised, agreed. Next, I don't know if the address is still valid. I'll check it out. So here check means check only, nothing else, right? You need to verify it, you need to check it. He could not check his tears. Yeah, it is. You cannot stop, you cannot control, you cannot restrain. You cannot control your tears, you cannot restrain, you cannot stop them, right? Okay, let's attempt this question one more. The last question. Try to find out the meaning of this word. Okay, let me read this. Forgetfulness is a venial offense. Now, I don't know what kind of offense is this forgetfulness, so I have to find out the meaning. Let's see if I can figure out any other clue. It should not be confused with deliberate dishonesty, which in my is unpardonable. So this is unpardonable. So this should be what? Pardonable? And if you can pardon any offense, it means it is not that huge offense, not that big mistake. So what should be the meaning of venial? That it is a very small offense, right? So I can easily eliminate uncommon, crucial, profound is a lot. So my answer is trivial. Any doubts, anyone? Did you understand how we have covered the contextual vocabulary? How have we found the clues in the sentences? How can we relate? How can we find the meaning of the unfamiliar words through the clues and using certain common sense? So, any doubts, anyone? Okay. So, your homework is make sure that you complete the exercise related to the first session of the vocabulary. Okay, so this first exercise you have to complete before the next lecture. Make sure that you learn all the words. Make sure that you revise all the words, whatever we have covered in this particular session. So revision, one thing, complete the exercise, that is your second task. So make sure before the next lecture you are done with this. Don't forget that you all have committed in the starting of the lecture that you are ready, you are committed to do this, right? So I don't want any excuses. I want every one of you to just complete the targets. These are very small targets, and I'm pretty sure that you can easily achieve them. Right, everyone? Okay, so let's call it a day and let's end the session here tonight. All the best, everyone, and do take care of yourself. Okay, see you in the next lecture. Most welcome. Most welcome, everyone. Yes, Sindhuja, you want to ask something? The answers are not given. Uh, Answer key is not given in the behind the practice exercises. If it is not given, then just a second. Harita ma'am, are you there? Harita ma'am, not Harika. It's a member of the Abhyaas support team. I'm asking Harita ma'am. Okay, no worries. I guess ma'am is not here right now. You can just ask any of the representative of the Abhyas, anyone with whom you are in connection with, anyone from the administration team or anyone from the marketing team or the administration team. Okay, just contact them tomorrow itself and ask for the answer keys. Okay, make sure that you have the answer keys. Okay, because without answer keys, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so just tomorrow ask them, they'll provide you the answer keys. Anything else, anyone? Okay, that's great. If no one has any doubt, most welcome. Okay, so good night, everyone, and see you in the next lecture.